Hello, I'm Dr. Ben, and welcome to a special Halloween edition of RPG PhD. Today we're biting deep into the world of vampires and how to seamlessly incorporate them into your RPG campaigns. The allure of vampires is multifaceted and deeply rooted in both their storied mythos and their unique mechanics. Vampires represent a blend of seduction, eternal life, and danger. These enigmatic creatures bring with them a tapestry of rich narratives steeped in tragedy, passion, and conflict. They can be villains, allies, or tragic figures. Knowing this will allow you to play with tropes and expectations. On the one hand, the vampire embodies the eternal struggle between humanity and beast, providing players with morally complex scenarios that challenge their notions of right and wrong. On the other, their inherent powers, ranging from mind control to immortality, present a tempting array of capabilities that can be both a blessing and a curse for those who wield them. Moreover, the societies and hierarchies often associated with vampire lore can introduce intricate political dramas and courtly intrigues, deepening the role-playing experience. The enigmatic nature of the vampire, coupled with the potential for power and the danger of eternal damnation, creates an intoxicating mix that draws players into stories of darkness, desire, and the eternal question of what it means to be truly human. When weaving the tapestry of your vampire narrative, the setting is your canvas, and it deeply influences the tale you're trying to tell. An old European town, for example, can bring with it cobbled streets, ancient castles, and local folklore. This is the realm of Bram Stoker's Dracula, where superstition is rife, and every shadow holds a whisper of ancient terrors. Contrast this with a modern urban city setting, where the vampire might be hiding in plain sight. Here, amidst neon lights and bustling crowds, your vampires could be corporate moguls or underground crime lords, using technology and modern societal structures as both a shield and as a tool. Then there's the dystopian future. Imagine a world where vampires rule openly and humans are either collaborators or rebels. The remnants of human civilization could be juxtaposed with the opulence of vampire overlords, and the stakes, pun intended, becomes survival in a world dominated by the undead. The ambience you set, be it with candlelit alleys, the gleaming lights of skyscrapers, or the eerie silence of a post-apocalyptic world, serves to immerse your players deeply. It's not just about introducing a vampire, it's about crafting an experience, a world where the lines between myth and reality blur. And as always, use the environment to your advantage. Let the full moons cast long, haunting shadows, and let mysterious fog mask both danger and secrets. These small atmospheric touches can elevate your storytelling to chilling heights. When diving into the world of vampires, it's essential to remember that they've had centuries, if not millennia, to form intricate social structures and power dynamics. In a city with rival vampire clans, for instance, you're looking at a mosaic of differing ideologies, territories, and alliances. Each clan might have its own customs, traditions, and even unique abilities that set them apart. Imagine a world where a player could be negotiating with the aristocratic clan one moment, and then by nightfall, be on the run from the more brutal and bloodthirsty faction. Now consider the ancient blood feuds. These are not just simple disagreements, they are vendettas that have been brewing for centuries, carrying with them tales of betrayal, lost love, and brutal wars. These feuds can be the backbone of several adventures, with players maybe even choosing sides or being used as pawns in these age-old rivalries. And let's not forget the possibility of a governing body like a council. This council could be the very epitome of undead bureaucracy, setting laws about who gets to feed where, which disputes are to be settled by duel, or perhaps even having regulations on interactions with mortals. Being summoned before this council could be an entire adventure on its own. It could also offer moral dilemmas. Does the party support the council's rule of law, or do they sympathize with the rebels who see it as oppressive? By adding these layers of vampire politics in society, you're enriching your campaign world. It's no longer just about hunting or being hunted, it's about navigating a complex web of undead relationships, traditions, and power plays. It makes every interaction a potential gateway to countless stories, alliances, or enmities, giving depth and richness to every encounter. At the heart of many vampire stories lies a profound examination of morality and humanity. These undead beings, once human, find themselves grappling with a dark hunger and primal instincts, yet the remnants of their human soul often remain, creating an internal tug-of-war that can shape their every action and decision. This internal conflict can be a goldmine for rich role-playing and character development. Imagine a newly turned vampire, once a righteous paladin, now fighting the urge to drain the life from an innocent. Every encounter becomes a test of willpower, a battle against the monster within. Such a character might constantly seek redemption, hoping to find a cure or a way to suppress their vampiric nature. On the other hand, a character who succumbs to their monstrous side can become a formidable antagonist, one whose transformation from hero to villain is all the more tragic because of the good they once represented. Then there's the gray area, vampires who walk the line, neither fully embracing their humanity nor their beastly nature. They might uphold a personal code, only feeding on those they deem worthy of their bite, or seeking out alternative sources of sustenance to avoid harming innocents. Furthermore, society's reactions can be explored. How does the world view these creatures? Are they pitied, reviled, hunted, or accepted? Do religious institutions see them as lost souls, abominations, or testaments to the God's will? By delving deep into these themes of morality and humanity, players and GMs alike can explore complex character motivations, ethical dilemmas, and intense emotional conflicts. It's a chance to question what it truly means to be human and what one might sacrifice or embrace when that humanity is at stake. Not all vampires need to fear sunlight or garlic. Maybe they have a unique reflection power, allowing them to see events from the past, or perhaps they can't enter a home unless invited, adding a puzzle element. One of the most fascinating aspects of vampire lore is the myriad of powers and vulnerabilities attributed to these creatures over centuries of tales and mythologies. By breaking away from the stereotypical norms and experimenting with unique abilities and weaknesses, you can introduce refreshing twists to your game that keep players on their toes. For instance, imagine a vampire that doesn't cast a shadow. This quirk can lead to intense investigative scenarios where players are on the hunt for a vampire hiding in plain sight. Or consider a vampire with the power to manipulate emotions. They could cause discord in a town, making inhabitants more susceptible to their influence, or turn allies against one another. Conversely, weaknesses can also be played with creatively. The traditional barrier of not entering a residence uninvited can be taken a step further. What if in your world vampires cannot cross running water, forcing them to use intermediaries or devise cunning strategies to traverse a city crisscrossed by canals or rivers? Or perhaps they're weakened or paralyzed by the sound of church bells, making certain areas of the city safe zones during specific times. Different cultures have their own vampire myths, each with its own set of abilities and restrictions. Drawing inspiration from lesser-known mythologies can yield some truly intriguing vampires. For example, inspired by the Slavic Nosferatu, your vampires might be more animal-like, capable of commanding other rats or transforming into them. By introducing these unique abilities and weaknesses, you not only challenge player expectations, but also provide them with novel situations to strategize around. Encounters with these vampires will require more than just brute force. They'll demand wit, cunning, and a deep understanding of the very nature of the vampires they face. Think about your vampire's first impression. A mysterious benefactor, a feared enemy, or maybe a tragic love interest. The introduction sets the tone for future interactions. The first encounter with your vampire can be one of the most memorable moments of your campaign, so it's vital to make it count. When introducing your vampire, consider not just who they are, but also how they enter the story, the ambience of the scene, and the reactions of those around them. Imagine a scenario where the party enters a grand ballroom. The chandeliers dim and the room hushes as a tall, enigmatic figure enters, capturing the attention of every attendee. This could be your vampire, the elusive lord or lady of the city who few have seen but everyone whispers about. Their reputation precedes them, and players immediately know they're in the presence of someone significant. Alternatively, the vampire could be introduced through rumors and legends first, stories of a cursed soul haunting the woods, a tragic tale of lost love, or a dreaded predator preying on the innocent. When the players finally meet this figure, it's a culmination of the stories they've heard, now facing them in the flesh. Or what about an unexpected twist? The players find themselves rescuing a seemingly innocent individual, only to discover later they've inadvertently saved a vampire. This scenario could pose intriguing moral dilemmas and unexpected alliances. Furthermore, remember the emotions you want to invoke. Fear, intrigue, sympathy, or maybe even admiration. Do the townsfolk cower in their presence, or do they bow in reverence? Is their lair a place of dread, or a sanctuary of melancholic beauty? The way you introduce your vampire shapes players' perceptions and determines how they'll approach subsequent interactions. Whether they become an ally to be courted, an enemy to be feared, or a mystery to be unraveled, hinges on that crucial first impression. Delving deeper into the realm of vampires, it's vital not to neglect the tapestry of characters that can surround these enigmatic beings. These side characters not only add depth to your campaign, but also provide various avenues for storytelling and character development. Let's start with the classic vampire hunter. These could be seasoned warriors brandishing weapons of old and inscribed with runes to ward off the undead. Their motives can range from personal vendettas after losing loved ones to these creatures of the night, to being part of an ancient order dedicated to keeping undead in check. Their presence can add tension, as they might see any association with a vampire, even a friendly one, as a threat. Think of the dynamics when a party befriends a vampire while a relentless hunter is in pursuit. Undead minions and thralls can serve as both allies and adversaries. These beings, often under the influence or command of a more potent vampire, can provide insights into the vampire's character. Are they treated as mere tools, indicating the vampire's cold nature, or do they serve out of genuine loyalty or a twisted sense of love? Encounters with these minions can be combat-centric or riddled with moral choices, especially if they're victims who didn't choose this fate. Now, the local townsfolk play a crucial role too. They're the ones living in the shadow of these legendary creatures. Their tales, whether passed down through generations or recent gossip, can guide players in their quests. Maybe there's an old widow who recalls a forbidden romance with a vampire, or a tavern keeper who secretly trades in blood for the undead. These characters, with their beliefs, fears, and desires, can offer numerous side quests. Perhaps they need help warding off a vampire's advances, or they want assistance in reuniting with an undead loved one without drawing the hunter's wrath. Incorporating a diverse range of side characters and their intertwined stories ensures your campaign remains vibrant, multifaceted, and brimming with possibilities. It's these stories, often lurking in the shadows of the main plot, that breathe life, or should I say, undead vitality, into your world. Designing quests around the theme of vampirism offers a fantastic opportunity to blend intrigue, morality, and mystery into your campaign. First up, the ritual for ultimate power. Imagine ancient texts that speak of a forbidden ceremony that can elevate a vampire to godlike status. This quest could involve players racing against time to find and decipher these texts before a power-hungry vampire gets their hands on them. Along the way, they might encounter obscure cults that revere vampires as deities, or old scholars who warn of the dire consequences should such power fall into the wrong hands. As the plot thickens, players would need to decide, do they destroy this knowledge, use it to their advantage, or let fate decide its course? Then there's the prophecy of a vampire savior. Legends tell of a chosen undead destined to bridge the world of vampires and humans. As the prophecy's events start to unfold, players could be tasked with protecting, guiding, or even challenging this savior. This narrative brings forth moral dilemmas. Should the party support a vampire's rise if it means potential peace, or resist, fearing the consolidation of power? Lastly, the pursuit of a cure for vampirism is a classic yet potent storyline. But what if this cure wasn't just a simple potion or spell? What if it required a significant sacrifice, like the life force of another, or relinquishing all memories of one's immortal life? This quest would push players to their limits as they grapple with ethical questions, negotiate with ancient entities guarding the cure, and confront their own biases against or for the undead. Moreover, it offers a chance for deep character development, especially if one of the party members is seeking the cure for personal reasons. Incorporating these quest ideas not only provides thrilling adventures, but also challenges players to think beyond conventional good versus evil tropes. After all, in the world of vampires, the lines between darkness and light are often beautifully blurred. The tools and artifacts that players can use when encountering vampires not only enhance the gameplay, but also immerse them deeper into the narrative. First, silvered weapons. Beyond the lore of silver being harmful to supernatural entities like werewolves, in a vampire-centric campaign, silver could be a rare metal with properties that disturb the undead. The gleam of a silvered blade could signify a seasoned vampire hunter, making it not just a weapon but a status symbol. Its effect on vampires could be manifold, from burning their flesh on contact to negating their regenerative capabilities. Acquiring such a weapon might necessitate a mini-quest where players seek out a legendary blacksmith or unearth ancient forging secrets. Next, vials of holy water. This classic item harks back to the idea that the sacred repels the profane. But let's add a twist. Maybe in your world it's not just any holy water, but that which has been blessed under a specific lunar eclipse or by a priestess of a long-forgotten deity. The rarity of such an item could make its acquisition an adventure in itself. Moreover, its uses can expand beyond merely harming vampires. Perhaps it can purify areas tainted by dark magic or even temporarily restore humanity to an undead being. Perhaps there's a unique amulet against vampire charm. This isn't just a protective artifact, it's a story piece. Maybe it's the last creation of a lover-turned-vampire, designed to shield the wearer from their own supernatural allure. Or perhaps it's a fragment of a shattered relic, and collecting its pieces could weaken the hold of all vampires in a region. Wearing the amulet could come with its own challenges. Maybe it draws the attention of other supernatural entities, or has a limited number of protective charges. To spice things up, think of introducing other gear like enchanted garlic, cloaks that provide invisibility in moonlight, or even a special lantern that reveals hidden undead. With the right items, your players will feel better equipped to face the challenges of the night and more rooted in the world you've crafted around the lore of vampires. The vampire myth is universal, but its characteristics vary across cultures. Explore global legends by introducing vampires with unique abilities and weaknesses based on various cultures. From the hopping Jiangxi of Chinese folklore to the shadowy Aswang of the Philippines, these varied myths can bring fresh elements and challenges to your RPG world. In the hallowed halls of horror and fantasy, the legend of the vampire has been etched into our collective psyche through tales that span genres, media, and epochs. At the forefront stands Bram Stoker's Dracula, a novel that has for many become synonymous with the vampire mythos, laying down a blueprint for countless tales that followed. But just as Count Dracula is not the sole resident of the undead realm, Stoker's work is but one star in a vast nocturnal sky. Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire breathed introspection and melancholy into the genre, while the eerie silent film Nosferatu brought a chilling adaptation of Stoker's narrative to the screen. The 1987 cult classic The Lost Boys infused the lore with rock and roll, humor, and teen angst, carving a niche of its own. Then there's the formidable Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a series that deftly danced between drama, comedy, and action, centering on a young woman's destiny as a vampire slayer. The 2000s saw the resurgence of vampire romance with Stephenie Meyer's Twilight, juxtaposing the eternal with teenage love, while True Blood examined coexistence, presenting a world where vampires sought to be part of human society. The tender narrative of Let the Right One In shone a light on the bond between a bullied boy and a vampire girl, and the novella Carmilla, predating even Dracula, broke ground with a female vampire lead. The game's setting can take inspiration from vampire-centric RPGs like Vampire the Masquerade, from the action-packed world of Blade to the genre-bending From Dusk Till Dawn. Stories like 30 Days of Night, The Strain, and Stephen King's Salem's Lot further broaden the scope, proving that the allure of the vampire in all its myriad forms remains undying. At the heart of many vampire tales is the constant tension between the intoxicating allure of vampiric powers and the moral dilemmas they pose. The insatiable thirst for human blood stands as both a testament to their strength and their curse, pushing players to grapple with their characters' innate desires versus their lingering humanity. Will they prey on innocents, turn to animals, or only target the wicked? This blood dependency is an ever-present factor shaping their journey, leading to myriad conflicts both internal and with the world around them. The weight of eternity also hangs heavily on these creatures of the night. Although immortality may appear as an enticing gift, it often morphs into a heart-wrenching curse. The sorrow of watching loved ones age and perish, coupled with the isolating fear of exposure, provides ample emotional terrain for players to navigate. How do you use vampires in your campaigns? Leave your thoughts in the comments sections below. Happy Halloween, everyone, and may your stories be ever biting. Thanks for tuning into RPG PhD. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more thrilling tales from the tabletop. See you next time.